Hello, and good morning, and I welcome you all to our today's study circle meeting. This being a new venue, we have delayed slightly for 5-10 minutes for the people to come. We have with us today C. Murtuza Kachwala ji. He will be dealing in the topic of various professional opportunities for chartered accountants. Apart from what we regularly do, some new areas that we can venture into. So, before we start that, let me first remind you all to please put your phones on silent mode for the meeting. And now I request you all to please stand at attention mode for the Institute motto song to be followed by the national anthem. Thank you.
माता की जय।
I request C. Manish Gadia ji to take a quick
Review on ICI.
quick review on ICI.
Thank you, Purvi. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
So ICI, I may not be right person because regional council member and immediate past chairman is sitting, so he is the best person to say something on ICI, what is happening. But I know Murtuza Kachwala and I have an opportunity to work with him in the regional council in the last term. He is very dedicated to the profession and very meticulously working. And I can say that अगर तकलीफ होती है या कोई भी guidance चाहिए या कुछ भी चाहिए, so he is the first person I always used to call him and he is always available to me when I was chairman. His office is near to BKC. मुर्तजा भाई को फोन किया, मुर्तजा भाई ऑफिस आ जाओ. So immediately within 10 minutes he is in institute. So the way he work. And today he is going to discuss the topic on professional opportunity, which is very important for all of us, because we all know that the traditional practice, what we used to do, the revenues are slowly and gradually not increasing the way the expenditures are increasing. All of you agree with me?
Yes.
So as a chartered accountant, we have to look for various different opportunities and the newer areas in a practice. So increase the revenue. And I know that Murtuza bhai was in Gulf or maybe 7, 8 years back, sir, 9 years. 10 years back, he came to India without having any background, or you can say without having any much contact in India, and he started a company called Protivity. So he's initiated that drive in India, and I think now more than 1,000, 1,500 count head count. 3,500 head counts are there. So definitely what the professionally his firms is doing. So I request Mutaya bhai, if you can share that also, and how we also can grow at such a pace that 1 to 3,500 in 10 years. So definitely a remarkable thing. So I request, before inviting Murtuza bhai, I request Kailash Kataruka to formally introduce Murtuza bhai.
Good morning, friend.
Good morning.
It's my great pleasure to introduce our eminent speaker, Mr. Murtuza Kachwala. I also thanks to our convener for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Murtuza Kachwala is a fellow chartered accountant, passed in 1994. He is also a Master of Commerce, Cost and Management Accountant, certified internal auditor, ISO 27001 lead auditor, certified information system auditor, and has done diploma in information system audit. He is a regional council member of WIRC and also was the chairman of WIRC in the year 2022-23. This is his second term at the WIRC. He is currently a member on advisory board at SITM at Pune, India. He has served as a secretary of ICI for the year 2019-20. He has also served as secretary 16-17, vice chairman as 2017-18, and chairman at 2018-19 of Kalyan Dombivli branch of WIRC. He has been a deputy convener of Kalyan CPE Study Circle and has represented on various committees of the WIRC of ICI in the past. Sri Murtuza has more than 20 years of professional experience working with a broad range of global organizations, helping them deal with their most significant business risks and issues. Currently, Mr. Murtuza is a managing director with Protivity and heads the internal audit and financial advisory practice for Western India, and he is also the market leader for Protivity in India. In the past, Murtuza has worked in organizations like Mitsui, Oski Lines, Hinduja Group, Vodafone, and AF Ferguson and Company. Shri Murtuza has been invited as a regular speaker at various forums and as a panelist on variety of subjects. He occasionally writes in magazines, journals, and other publications also. In this work, I request our past convener, Mr. Chintan Shah, and our past convener, CA Mahesh Bhageria ji, to give a love of token to him. Thank you. Please welcome Mr. Murtuza ji with a lot of applause. Welcome, sir. Hello. Hello.
It's not coming in Zoom.
Good morning to everyone. Let me first thank Purvi Madam, Manish Bhai, all the past conveners, LIP for inviting me here today. And thank you for joining on this Sunday morning. Before we start, I know you when you change of venue, so you got little delay. But then when do you want me to stop? 10:45, 11.
It's up to you. As you wish, sir. As you wish.
Fine. So 9:24, even if I target 10:45, we have about 1 hour 20 minutes, which is 80 minutes. Content बहुत है, अगर slide deck में there are more than 100 slides. I think around 130, but we'll try to cover whatever we can. I'll need your support. So if you raise your hand faster, if you start talking faster, we'll be able to move much faster. Am I audible in the end there?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So how many from industry? Industry members? Okay, 1 or 2, 3, 4, okay. And from Big 10 firms? Big 4, Big 10, okay, 2. I'm not even going into which side of area. And then everyone else is in practice?
Yes. सब बाकी.
Excellent.
सब MSME वाले.
Very good. Okay. How many of us do statutory audit and tax audit? Everyone? Good. And how many of us do income tax? Excellent. And how many of us do GST? Very good. So when we say new opportunities, there is no point in talking about statutory audit, income tax or GST. So next 18 years, I will not talk about these three topics. Okay, I'll talk about everything other than this. बाकी ये तो आप सुनते ही रहते हो expert speakers से, और मनीष जी expert है ही GST में. Even before I go ahead,
See, let me thank Manish Bhai. When I got into the council, मेरे को ज़्यादा कुछ आता नहीं था, and he is my mentor, he is my guide. Okay, first term also I was secretary, and he only I think built the whole team, and we were together. And I think he is one man who stood behind me rock solid to ensure that I get to the chairmanship. So thank you, Manish Bhai.
This is for Manish.
And gem of a person, I don't need to tell you guys, you all know, and a very good friend as well. Let me divide this into now certain portions. So first one is the risk and control. And given the time that we have on hand, I will spend about 30 minutes, not more than that. पूरा सब कुछ सीखना या सिखाना बहुत मुश्किल है, क्विकली टच करेंगे कि क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज है. अगर और डिटेल में जाना है तो we can go and talk about Internoid for days together. We can have a full day program, 2 days program. But today we just touch upon what are the various opportunities. What does it mean and what are the opportunities? Then we'll spend about 15-20 minutes on these 4 things: the social audit, the BRSR, etc. And then we come to this area and we'll talk about all of these, okay, for about next 20 odd minutes. And then we'll see. अगर time बचेगा तो आगे की slides पे जाएंगे, नहीं बचेगा तो नहीं जाएंगे. Okay. That is fine. Is there any other expectation that you want me to cover? Then I can change the course and I can go to that also. Whenever you want, you can stop me. Okay. Anyone who is doing Internoid here? क्या करते हो सर आप? I'll come to you quickly. How do you cover? What do you do? If you can share your experience, that will be nice.
I've been in Internoid for more than 14 years, 7 years in industry, 7 years in consulting firm in India. Basically, we cover the first one, which is right risk control matrix. Basically, it is used for internal audit as well as for the ISM framework. That is what we prepare as well as validate the same. It has a guidance sort of IC also on it. And when it comes to, in case there are gap, for example, companies don't have an SOP in place, so we help them develop the SOP. There's something like enterprise risk management also, not directly related to internal audit, but sometimes if the client wants, we even look into that. Again, it's something related to the risk and control matrix. So these are the major things which we cover in internal audit.
Thank you. I think really good. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to share some experience on Internoid? No? Okay, no worries. Let me first start with one normal process जो हर एक को मालूम है. हमने आर्टिकलशिप से किया procure to pay. Procure to pay everyone knows here. Now you are not Internoid. Statutory audit जो होगा तो procure to pay तो देखना ही पड़ता है, right? What happens in a procure to pay? Where does it start? Where does it end? Quickly, anyone wants to say anything? 3-4 लोग थोड़ा-थोड़ा बोलेंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा.
Vendor registration.
Okay.
Vendor registration.
Vendor registration. And
Then will be the raising of the POs will be the second thing after the vendors have been
purchase order क्या purchase requisition?
intent, I would say.
Intent or requisition will come first and then order will come later. Anyone else? After order, what happens?
Let other person.
Yeah. After order, what happens? Anyone? Quickly.
GRNs.
GRN. Okay, excellent. Good notes. So GRN पहला कि quality check पहला. So first quality check. Keep the material on the side. If the quality does not happen, don't make the GRN. Don't take the material inside. Okay. Then after that, IRN is
Invoice booking.
invoice booking. Very good. And what do you check while doing the invoice booking? What who checks and what do they check?
Quantity and the rates.
Quantity and the rates. Okay. As per purchase order.
As per purchase order.
Right. And as per GRN also.
Terms and conditions as per the PO and what is there in the bids.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. And
That goes for the payment. Means whether the
Payment,
vendor is
okay.
MSME, non-MSME.
If there is
okay. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Credit period, if any.
Okay.
Any terms related to if there is a rejection or rebate or,
So credit period will be changing vendor to vendor.
Yes.
It can, right? And where will you capture in your, like, अगर there is a system SAP Oracle तो किधर capture करेंगे credit period? In the vendor master. Excellent, thank you. And you were saying something else. Yes, sir.
So this is about that, if any rejection and all this to be accounted or credit note is to be issued.
Okay, very good. Credit note. Okay. And these days people cut check and make the payment. They make online. RTGS, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फंड ट्रांसफर, तो उसके लिए क्या क्या चाहिए डिटेल्स?
Banking.
बैंकिंग डिटेल्स वो किधर होना चाहिए? वेंडर मास्टर में, सिस्टम या वेंडर मास्टर, वेरी गुड. एनीथिंग एल्स?
Inventory.
Yeah, okay.
Inventory.
I'm not even going into inventory, but yes, you can add a little on that. And then I'll come back.
The main part, we have to see the classification of the product,
HSI number.
what the material is coming,
Okay, very good.
where it is going to be mapping up.
Excellent.
In the, I know when you're, if you are manufacturing or if you're a trader, where the sale has to be correlated or nexus is there.
Good. Thank you. So I think we talked about purchases, raw material, ye wo, but then I think when you talk about procurement, it includes all the expenses also, right? From a rent to electricity to whatever, all payments. Now, in all the payments, there are so many requirements. Company sector में requirement है, internal financial control आ गया, environment में कुछ गड़बड़ हुई थी, उसके वजह से US में SOX आ गया, right? Tax audit में there are so many clauses, 48(2)(b, payment, more than cash payment, XYZ. So what is the risk? What can go wrong? Why are we doing so many things? Risk क्या है? Procure to payment. What is the risk? What can go wrong? What can go wrong? क्यों इतना सब करना पड़ता है? Frauds? What type of frauds? Very good. Excellent.
Materials are not received actually, and the things are phrased in such a manner that you will look that trail is there, but actually materials are not received. Or sometimes expenses are booked just on the fictitious bills or services not available. And taxation also might be there, input credit is there, TDS is there. So that also have a great implication.
Thank you, sir. So he says without getting the material, payment is being made. That is one risk. What else? Someone was saying on quality.
Unauthorized purchase.
Okay, and what do you mean by unauthorized purchase? For
I mean, the person does not have any responsibility to place the order and he has placed the
so what
order.
will happen because of that? What is the risk? क्या गलत क्या हो सकता है?
So it might be, I mean, the price at which it has to be purchased is not done.
Correct. So the one risk is you could buy at a price higher than the market price. That is one risk. मतलब जो price को मिलना चाहिए था उससे ज्यादा पैसा दे दिया. एक ये है risk के like without getting anything you are making the payment and then possibly you are taking it in cash. What is the other risk? We are trying to find out how do you identify or how do you write this risk in English? सबको मालूम है सब. What is the other risk? Higher purchase, quantity, right? Quantity purchase करना था X 1000 kgs, लेकिन आ गया 5000 kg. That can be one risk. Excess purchase of material. What else? One answer from your this side. What else? Okay, purchase at high price. Someone said substandard quality. अगर quality check नहीं हुआ तो substandard quality can come, and again that can impact your production. It can impact your sales and everything. So when I talk about a simple process like procure to pay, now let me go and talk about 2-3 things. See, and then we go to the slide. Slide इतना important नहीं है. Slide आपके पढ़ने के लिए, ठीक है? अभी when I talk about multiple things, when you talk about governance, and there are opportunities in the whole this governance frame. Any organization जिधर आप भी काम करते होंगे, अगर आपके क्लाइंट्स के पास SAP है या Oracle है या Tally है या अभी लोग Zoho या Odoo टाइप का ERP भी यूज करने लग गए, ठीक है? So many clients, the first step is writing policy and procedure. आप लोग ने have anyone done any assignment on policy and procedure? Right? And it is a massive, big assignment, good fees. 1000 रुपए में तो नहीं किया चिंतन भाई? कितने लाख रुपया फीस लिया आपने पॉलिसी प्रोसीजर का? 10 लाख रुपीस. आपने कितना लिया? हाँ, सीक्रेट है. मतलब 5-10 लाख रुपया इन्होंने भी लिया. So it is not like doing a normal accounting or filing a return for 1000 rupees. Okay, policy procedure. Now in today's day and time, everyone says कि like I want to be an entrepreneur, startup. Startup में generally a person puts his own money and his family's money. Then when he wants to go to the next level, बैंक का फंडिंग और बैंक के बाद when they go to venture capital and PE fund. The first thing the venture capital PE fund is asking is, do you have an ERP? कि टैली है, टैली है तो उनका कंफर्ट लेस रहता है, ठीक है. Now a small client may not be able to go into an SAP and spend crores of rupees, and hence there are options like Zoho, Odoo. I'm not a franchisee for them, okay, but these are good solution. You can go and help your client implement, and implementation fees will be a good amount for you. Now, any venture capital fund, PE fund will say policy procedure hai kya organization, which means you have to write and document everything. Okay, and including delegation authority matrix, who will raise PO for how much, who will raise PR for how much, and all of those. Now, some of these controls can be configured in the software. Some cannot be configured in the software. After the configuration which is happening in the software, then there is a second layer called a process mining tool, like a Celonis PAPNA, जो implement हो सकता है. और process mining करे या नहीं करे थोड़ा महंगा tool है. अगर if the client is dependent on Tally or on SAP or on Oracle and manual policy procedure, then while doing your statutory audit, while doing your internal audit, you have to select samples statistically. You have to write data analytics queries, and on the basis of analytics queries, you get exception report and you have to do the work. So let me go ahead and explain this a little more in detail, and then we go there. Procure to pay में configuration tally में भी हो सकता है कि पहला purchase requisition, अगर requisition नहीं है तो order place ही नहीं होगा. मतलब purchase order issue करते समय requisition number is required. That can be done in Tally also in all the software. If it is configured, if it is not configured, then it is not there. Assuming your client says कि purchase requisition जैसा concept हमारे पास नहीं है, order तो है. Okay, start with order. If there is no order, GRN cannot be made. Which means order first या GRN first? Order first, GRN next. PO, purchase requisition first, PO next. Acha, order is for 1000 kgs. Can the GRN be for 1200 kgs? No. So GRN quantity cannot exceed the PO quantity. ये control system में बिठा सकते हैं, Tally में भी बिठा सकते हैं. अभी ये control work कर रहा है कि नहीं? As an internal auditor, as a statutory auditor, we need to check when we are doing the procure to pay process. How will we check that control? That also we'll talk about in a minute. Okay. So there are certain controls which can be placed into a system. Requisition first, order next, order then GRN. GRN quantity cannot exceed PO quantity. There is something called as three-way match. Three-way match सुना है आप लोगों ने? सुना है कुछ लोगों ने. तो मतलब when the invoice is getting processed, it goes and checks कि quantity कितना आया है, GRN है क्या नहीं, quality या acceptance of quantity and service है क्या नहीं. Then it will go to the purchase order and see what is the rate, what are the other terms and conditions, and then the invoice will be approved. Let me give you one news, bad or good, you can take. Right now, Tally accounting के लिए भी हम लोग अपनी ऑफिस में काम करते हैं accounting का, right, client के पास. लेकिन sale bill the client makes from the Tally system. Bank statement they download, bank book is already there, and bank request also happens in Tally automatically. So what does not happen in Tally right now? Purchase invoice, जो हम लोग punching करते हैं. Data status का ledger reconciliation or scrutiny and all of those, that does not happen. But that is only in Tally. There are many other softwares that also happens. And going ahead, in 5 years from now, Tally will also have a feature where your purchase invoice will be scanned, OCR or RPA will pick up everything and do the accounting automatically. There are solutions like, और जिसको लिखना है वो लिख सकते हैं. There are solutions like a Firmway. Firmway is a tool which has been developed by 3 young chartered accountants in Bombay, and you can send confirmation to your vendors and creditors on mail. Confirmation mail पे जाता है. पहले क्या करते थे, क्लाइंट को लेटर देते, लेटर बना के देता था, स्टैम्प मारता था, हम जाके पोस्ट ऑफिस में डालते थे पोस्ट बॉक्स. फिर वो क्लाइंट का वेंडर या कस्टमर का लेजर मेरी ऑफिस में आता था, मैं बैठ के रिको करता था एज अ स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर. अभी वैसा नहीं है, मेल पे जाता है. मेल पे अगर लेजर आएगा, एक्सेल, वर्ड, पीडीएफ में, it does reconciliation between the two ledgers. It does bill to bill analysis. It also gives you closing balance breakup. The software does it. And all those features will come into Tally also someday. You will not have to rely on a firmware or some other solution. Now, can a Tally or can a solution give you breakup more than 6 months, less than 6 months? It can. अगर आपने मास्टर में डिफाइन किया MSME है तो can it give you how much is payable to MSME? It can. Payable to MSME more than 30 days? It can. तो ये सब कुछ उधर से आ सकता है. So the first level is configuration of the software which your client is using. Now, कोई चीज सॉफ्टवेयर में कवर होती है और कोई चीज सॉफ्टवेयर में नहीं कवर होती है. ठीक है. Okay, let me ask you one other thing which is a little different. Statutory audit, tax audit सब लोग कर रहे हैं. There is essay on sampling. How many samples do we select and how do we select? In procure to pay. कोई quick answer? कितना करना पड़ता है इसको स्टैंडर्ड सैंपल? Okay, let me ask a different question. आपके पास एक क्लाइंट है जिसका आप प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी का ऑडिट कर रहे हो या टैक्स ऑडिट कर रहे हो और क्लाइंट का टर्नओवर है 10 करोड़ रुपया और उसके उधर 1500 परचेज ऑर्डर इशू हुए ड्यूरिंग द ईयर. हाउ मेनी सैंपल विल यू सेलेक्ट? How many sample will you select?
20-25.
Someone says 10%. Sir says 20-25.
Because we will have to rely on the internal audit report also.
He says we'll have to rely on internal audit report. Someone said 10%. 150 sample. Any other answer?
Sir, if system controls are in place, then one sample we can select and 23 samples.
Okay. Very good. So different answers. No, nothing is wrong. Everything is correct in a way. But when you look at the essay, standard and auditing on sampling, it says frequency of control. अगर yearly control है तो 1 sample. अगर monthly control है तो minimum 2, maximum 3 sample. मतलब bank reconciliation is a monthly control. तो 2 महीने का बैंक को लेना पड़ेगा या फिर 3 महीने का लेना पड़ेगा. अगर 50 बैंक है तो 50 बैंक में then you can decide judgmentally कि मेरे को 10 बैंक ये बार लेना है, 10 बैंक अगली बार लेना है, वैसा जो भी है वो. If it is a daily recurring event like a petty cash, bank payment, bank receipt, purchase order, purchase payment, then it says minimum 30, maximum 50. If you do less than 30, then you have not done your work properly. And if you done 30, that is okay. So you need to select the samples. Now, there is, how do you select the sample? Statistical sampling, judgmental, random, क्या है ये सब? कैसे select करते sample? Any idea? Do you use a tool random? Who said random? Random? Yes, sir. What do you mean by random? थोड़ा सा quickly. I think I'm running behind schedule, but देखते हैं.
Sir, randomly means month wise or we can take any sample and the chances of every sample are the same chance.
Very good. Thank you. Any other answers?
ABC analysis. Depends on the amount.
ABC analysis. Very good. Who was that? Yes.
Sampling wherein we select a sample, 20% of the sample covering 80% of the population.
Okay. Chalo, go. Again, a little different answer. So see, again, there are tools available and you will have to start using tools. The basic data analytics tool is Excel. Excel is very powerful. Excel की बहुत कम features हमको मालूम होते हैं. अगर उसको अच्छे से use करेंगे तो कर सकते हैं. लेकिन as an MSME practitioner, again, I am not a franchisee, but I am telling you, IDEA is a good tool. ICI at Delhi has signed an MOU with Kachwala, Canada. Kachwala, Canada is a parent. Sama audit tool in India is a franchisee, and they sell IDEA tool. IDEA tool का जो ICI ने agree किया rate हमारे सबके लिए that is 50,000 rupees for purchasing and then 10,000 rupees yearly renewal fee. एक बार 50,000 दे दो, फिर हर क्लाइंट का डेटा आप अपलोड करके उसके अंदर एनालिटिक्स कर सकते हो और ईयर ऑन ईयर रिन्यूअल 10,000 रुपया है. आइडिया के वीडियोस भी है, प्रोक्योर टू पे, ऑर्डर टू कैश, ये वो सब. अगर आपके पास जो मैंने बोला था वो एग्जांपल में 1200 है, 1200 आपने अपलोड कर दिया पूरा डेटाबेस, परचेज ऑर्डर नंबर, परचेज रिक्वेजिशन नंबर, क्वांटिटी, रेट, इनवॉइस नंबर, पेमेंट, सब कुछ. And on the basis of PO, if you say I want to select 50 samples, it will pick up statistically and give it to you. See what is judgmental or random sampling. अगर हाई वैल्यू परचेस मैंने लिया ए कैटेगरी, दैट इज जजमेंटल. अगर मेरे को मालूम है कि मेरा जो ये पर्टिकुलर रॉ मटेरियल परचेस है 1 करोड़ का, लेकिन उसमें तो 90 लाख एक ही वेंडर है, तो वो उठाया तो जजमेंटल. कोई उधर जब भी ऑडिट के लिए जाता है तो कोई बोलता है कि ये जो वेंडर है ना, ये हमारे प्रमोटर का दोस्त है, तो वो हम लोग उठाते हैं, मेरी आवाज सुनो में. दैट इज अगेन जजमेंटल. Statistical sample is 1200 divided by 100. If I want to select 100, 1200 divided by 100, 12 will be the nth number. अगर पहला नंबर 3 है तो second will be 12, 3 plus 12, 20, 15, 15 plus 12, 27, 27 plus 12, 39. And whether it is a payment voucher, whether it is a purchase invoice, booking, BPB or whatever you call, whether it is a requisition, whether it is order, I select on the basis of the order. Order से select करने के बाद, so statistical sampling, I said idea. There is audit command language also, you can write queries also, I'll come to that. Coming to this, let me complete this one. एक बार we covered the essay, standard auditing on sampling. We will cover the standard auditing on analytic procedure. But there is a standard auditing on documentation, working paper and evidences. ये आपने जो सैंपल सेलेक्ट किया 50, ये 50 सैंपल के लिए आपने चेक क्या किया? Have you documented that? See, most of the cases will go to disciplinary committee. The VC says कि आपने क्या चेक किया? V से कि हमने ग्रीन टिक मारा पूरे फाइल के ऊपर. और सर PO देखा, PR देखा, ये देखा, लेकिन वो लिखा किधर है? Where is the document? And if not documented means not done. Work not documented is work not done. Okay, and hence, if you go to larger firms, I did my initial period in AF Producer and Company. They had a large checklist for compliance, purchase requisition number, date, and quantity, and the item code. Then purchase order number, date, quantity, vendor name, rate. Then GRN, then quality check, then 3 quotation, then comparative statement. पूरा 40 कॉलम्स होते हैं. ये जो 30 सैंपल आप सेलेक्ट करते हो, ये 30 सैंपल के लिए आपको एक चेकलिस्ट चाहिए और चेकलिस्ट के अंदर ये 40 चीज, 30 चीज, 35 चीज भर के रखना है to say that I did so and so. And whether the fees is 1,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 does not matter. The essay does not say ये 10,000 रुपए का फीस रहेगा तो काम नहीं करने का या डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं रखने का. Am I clear? This was not the topic for today, but we touched the topic. Let me go ahead now quickly in the interest of time. So, like we talked about systems, Tally, SAP, Oracle, Zoho, there are certain things which can be configured, there are certain things which can happen there. On top of it today, there are organizations who they implement a process mining tool, and you can write the name if you want. Celonis, CELENOIS. Then there are PAF now. Process mining tool क्या करता है? वो क्लाइंट के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जितना परचेज रिक्वेजिशन, जितना परचेज ऑर्डर, जितना GRN बनता है, each and every transaction on the basis of date and time stamp, it gives you a report immediately every minute. कि ये इतने ट्रांजैक्शन है जिसमें PR नहीं बनाया और सीधा PO बन गया. ये इतने ट्रांजैक्शन है जिधर PO नहीं बनाया लेकिन डायरेक्टली GRN बन गया है. ये इतने ट्रांजैक्शन है जिधर PO अमेंडमेंट हुआ है, और PO अमेंडमेंट होने के लिए जो बंदे ने पहला PO रेस किया था उसी ने अमेंड किया कि और किसने किया है? PO अमेंडमेंट में कितना टाइम लगा है? अगर इन्होंने परचेज रिक्वेजिशन अप्रूव कर दिया, मेकर, इनका बॉस है चेकर, इनके बॉस के पास कितनी देर के लिए, कितने दिन के लिए अटका हुआ, right? You don't need to see it manually. So process mining tools will tell you where are the bottlenecks in those organizations. Now, configuration in Tally or SAP will not give you certain things. Split PO. What is a split PO? Split PO क्या है?
There is a PO for 1,000 and 10 invoices will come in 10 numbers. Pieces.
Okay. Partly yes, and Yes, sir.
Suppose there is a limit of approvals, let's say 1 lakh above, MD has to sign it. So they split it so that the higher authority, that bill can't go to the higher authority.
Thank you. So I am the vendor. पूर्वी मैडम का दोस्त हूँ। मैडम उधर फाइनेंस कंट्रोलर है। द अकाउंटेंट का लिमिट इज 1 लाख रुपीस। 1 लाख के ऊपर का पीओ इशू करना है 5 लाख तक फाइनेंस कंट्रोलर, 5 लाख से 25 लाख सीएफओ, 25 लाख के बाद सीईओ, 50 लाख के बाद बोर्ड या एमडी। अभी आई अप्रोच हर फॉर सम इंटरनल असाइनमेंट, 12 लाख रुपए का फीस था। अगर इनके बॉस के पास जाएगा, बिकॉज इनका लिमिट 5,000 है, 5 लाख है, 12 लाख का पीओ देना है, इनका बॉस बोलेगा मेरा भी कोई दोस्त है, हर किसको ले आएंगे, तो शायद ये मेरे को काम नहीं दे पाएंगे। इसके लिए what does she do? She gives me one PO of 4,50,000. After 18 days another PO of 4,50,000 and after that another PO of 3 lakhs. तो ऐसा करके स्प्लिट करते हैं पीओ को। अपने नॉर्मल ऑडिट में हम लोग कैसे चेक करेंगे कि पीओ स्प्लिट किया है कि नहीं? नॉर्मल ऑडिट में unless someone tells you or you go and check one by one manually lot of offers, क्वेरी लिखने से क्या होएगा, डेटा एनालिटिक्स से क्या होएगा? डेटा एनालिटिक्स will pick up POs raised by same user on the same vendor. मतलब all POs raised by Purvi on X vendor, Y vendor, Z vendor. All POs raised by Chintan on A, B, C vendor. And all those POs, same employee, the same vendor, will be picked up. Check with the authority matrix table कि पूर्वी का authority matrix table 5 लाख है, अभी मैंने 30% वेरिएशन दिया, तो 3.5 लाख से 5 लाख के बीच में जितना भी पीओ मैडम ने इशू किया वो बाहर आ जाएगा। अब ये पीओ का लिस्ट जब भी आता है तो उसमें नाम दिखता है मुर्तुजा काचवाला। वो मुर्तुजा काचवाला को पीओ को भी दिया है, 10 अप्रैल को एक दिया है, 30 अप्रैल को एक दिया है और 15 मई को एक दिया है। मतलब उससे अपने दिमाग में क्या चलता है एज एन ऑडिटर कि मैडम ने स्प्लिट किया है, मैडम का लिमिट कितना अथॉरिटी मैट्रिक्स में देखो, तो आके आर्टिकल बोलता है सर 5 लाख, मैडम ने कितने का पीओ इशू किया, 4.5 लाख रुपया। ओके, ये निकालो, ये सस्पिशियस केस है एंड देन गो एंड डू द ऑडिट। आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? आर यू विथ मी? नाउ सी ऑल ऑफ दीस डेटा एनालिटिक्स क्वेरीज, there are certain things which cannot be done by SAP or Oracle or the largest of ERPs also, and these things will have to be written by way of queries. Now in my organization I have like about 350 queries written for procure to pay, order to cash, ये वो सब कुछ। अगर मैं समझो procure to pay का बात करता हूँ तो I have about 90 queries ready. टैक्स ऑडिट में more than 10,000 कैश पेमेंट। क्यों ढूंढने का कैश बुक में जाके, एक क्वेरी लिख दो रिपोर्ट मिल जाएगा। उधर टैक्स ऑडिट में पूछता है कि पेमेंट ऑन हॉलीडे, सॉफ्टवेयर में कैलेंडर भी है, 26 जनवरी 15 अगस्त, खाली मार्क करके दे दो हॉलीडे लिस्ट अपलोड करो, बाकी सैटरडे संडे मालूम है, उस दिन जो भी हुआ दे देगा। अगर आपको ये चेक करना है कि वेयरहाउस बंद होता है रात को 8 बजे, 8 बजे के बाद कोई डिलीवरी हुआ है क्या, डेट टाइम स्टैम्प सॉफ्टवेयर होता है कि आपको दे देगा। ओके, नाउ गाइस फ्रेंड्स, see it is not easy and I will tell you one thing from my experience कि जो नॉर्मल ग्रीन टिक मार के जो ऑडिट है वो चलता रहेगा। मनीष जी बोल रहे थे कि फीस बढ़ के नहीं मिलता है, क्लाइंट बोलता है आर यू एडिंग वैल्यू, यू एड वैल्यू आई गिव यू मनी, यू सेव माय मनी आई गिव यू मनी। ओके, so you have to add value to the client, and how do you add value to the client? By adopting technology. You have to start adopting technology and that also helps in complying. सबसे important है compliance, statistical sampling, analytic procedure का essay है। essay is the basic foundation. सर्टिफिकेट भी करते हो 1000 रुपए में साइन, तो essay applicable है। वो सर्टिफिकेट के लिए भी एंगेजमेंट लेटर लेना है, क्या प्रोसीजर किया वो लिखना है, क्या सैंपल सेलेक्ट किया वो करना है, उसके बाद स्टैम्प मार के साइन करना है। Then there is something called as audit, there is something called as internal audit, there is something called as agreed upon procedure, उसके ऊपर भी essay है। So we are not talking about essay today. Let me take one more step ahead and then I'll stop and I'll summarize everything. Because बहुत सारी बातें हो गई, लेकिन वो ये स्लाइड के ऊपर जाके देखना पड़ेगा ना, क्या क्या क्यों इतना बात कर रहे थे। Internal information we take and we do analytics. like I said, split PO, multiple payment, duplicate payment, vendor master में अलग अलग नाम से same GST नंबर तो नहीं है. Then TDS क्या रेट पे कटना चाहिए, क्या रेट पे कटा है. We have started now something called as API analytics. And API analytics is using the external or accessible public information. Many of your clients will be employing 10, 50, 100, 200 employees, right? Does any of your clients would like their employee to have a parallel business? Will they like? Everyone says no. How will you find out कि आपके क्लाइंट के पास अगर 100 एम्प्लॉई है तो वो 100 एम्प्लॉई के पास 100 में से किसी के पास जीएसटी नंबर है या नहीं, ये कैसे फाइंड आउट करेंगे? आंसर आपके पास है. Take the PAN number of all the employees, map it with the GST and database, and you will know whether those employees have got a GST number or not. GST number मिलता है, pick it up and map it with the vendor master, and you will know whether that entity has sold goods to the company. अगर उससे परचेस हुआ है, immediately जाके चेक करो मार्केट रेट क्या है, ज्यादा पैसा तो नहीं दे दिया अपने एम्प्लॉय को, लेकिन एम्प्लॉय का तो पहला बिजनेस ही नहीं होना चाहिए. Similarly, एम्प्लॉय या उसके फैमिली मेंबर, तो उसके लिए भी यू कैन राइट अ क्वेरी, गिव द नेम, सरनेम, मुर्तुजा, काचवाला. उधर जितने भी काचवाला होंगे वो पिकअप करेंगे एंड इट विल डू सम चेक. इट विल चेक द एड्रेस हियर एंड देयर. इट विल चेक समथिंग एंड इट विल गिव यू अ रिजल्ट. May not be 100% correct, but some result will come out of family members also. Many a time GST में 2A 3B reconciliation. आपका क्लाइंट पेमेंट कर देता है, लेकिन वेंडर के उधर से क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता बिकॉज़ वेंडर ने पेमेंट नहीं किया. Why don't you check when did the vendor pay last time GST, whether the vendor is active or not? There could be a temporary suspension. अगर आप वो देख के GST नंबर दे दोगे कि भाई ये बंदा तो टैक्स पेमेंट ही नहीं कर रहा है, इसको जीएसटी मत दो, जब इसका मेंबर जब जीएसटी नंबर एक्टिव होगा तभी देना. That can be done, right? We identified a case where purchase order was issued by the company on 10th of January and the GST number for the entity was taken on 8th of January. मतलब क्या है? ये कंपनी से ऑर्डर लेने के लिए नया फॉर्म बनाया है किसी ने, फिर हमने जाके देखा कि उसका जीएसटी में टर्नओवर कितना है, 1 करोड़, और यहां से देखा कि उसको पीओ कितना दिया है, 1 करोड़. मतलब क्या हो गया? वो वेंडर खाली यही कंपनी के लिए काम कर रहा है. तो इस तरीके से यू विल बी एबल टू गो अहेड एंड डू इट हैंड इन ग्लोव. डिन नंबर, पैन नंबर उठाओ, डिन के डेटाबेस में मैप करो, डायरेक्टर आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर, एम्प्लॉय डायरेक्टर है क्या किधर. डिन नंबर मिल गया तो कंपनी का सिन नंबर, कंपनी का सिन नंबर मिल गया तो उसमें और कौन कौन डायरेक्टर है, वो डायरेक्टर के डिन नंबर मिल गया तो वो उठा के उसका जीएसटीएन नंबर, जीएसटीएन मिल गया तो उठा के वेंडर मास्टर एंड सी वेदर दे आर सप्लाइंग टू द कंपनी और नॉट. आर यू विथ मी? ओके, एक्सीलेंट. मून लाइटिंग सुना है? मून लाइटिंग, मून लाइटिंग क्या है? आईटी कंपनी. हाउ डू यू फाइंड आउट मून लाइटिंग दैट एन एम्प्लॉय इज वर्किंग इन टू ऑर्गेनाइजेशन? हाउ डू यू फाइंड आउट? पैन नंबर से क्या मिलेगा? पीएफ डेटाबेस. वेरी गुड. कैसे चेक करोगे? सो एवरी एम्प्लॉय गॉट अ ईपीएफओ नंबर, और ईपीएफओ से आपको ये नहीं मालूम पड़ेगा कितना पैसा जमा हुआ उसके अकाउंट में, लेकिन ये पक्का मालूम पड़ेगा कि कौन से कंपनी ने पीएफ जमा किया. तो पिक अप द पैन नंबर, पिक अप द ईपीएफओ नंबर, गो एंड चेक इन द ईपीएफओ डेटाबेस, और उसमें हमको मून लाइटिंग के केसेस मिलते हैं. जैन टू जून एबीसी से मिल रहा है जीएमडीएन कंपनी, और अप्रैल टू जून मिल रहा है प्रोटिविटी से. मतलब 2 जगह पे काम कर रहा है, दोनों से पीएफ जमा हो. Client is not ready to pay salary in cash, remember that. And when they pay salary, they have to deduct PF. कोई कंपनी में employees now what they do is they're smart. They give a declaration writing I don't want my PF to be deducted. Those cases will not be covered. आपके क्लाइंट का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी होएगा. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी में कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को यूज करते हैं. Contractor gives you watchman, security, housekeeping, etc. You become the principal employer, and there is a Contract Labor Regulation Act. And you tell your client कि Contract Labor Regulation Act के हिसाब से जितने लोग आपके प्रीमाइसेस में काम कर रहे हैं जो पीएफ और ईएसआई जमा होना चाहिए, ऐसा बोलते हो? बोलते हो. तो वो चेक करने के लिए क्या करता है क्लाइंट? अपन उसको बोलते हैं कि पिछले महीने का चालान लो तो अगले महीने का पेमेंट देना है तो पेमेंट मत देना. बरोबर है? ये रूल बन गया, ये खाली पेपर फिलिंग एक्सरसाइज है, वर्षों तो चल रहा था, अभी बदलो, देश बदल रहा है, भाई बदलो। नाउ यू कैन गो टू पीपी ईपीएफओ एंड चेक कि ये अगर एंटिटी है सर का, तो सर ने 30 लोगों का पीएफ जमा किया, तो 30 का नाम क्या है, चिंतन, पूर्वी, मनीष। और अगर मुर्तुजा भी वो क्लाइंट के पास काम कर रहा है लेकिन उसके नाम से पीएफ नहीं जमा किया, कॉन्टेक्ट करना, तो यू कैन फाइंड आउट। So what is deposited that can be checked. भाई मोबाइल नंबर डालेगा तो नाम मिल जाता है आदमी का। अगर बिल मनीष भाई के नाम से आया और अकाउंट में पैसा पूर्वी के जा रहा है, तो आई कैन चेक दैट, राइट। जीपे यूपे डेटा इज अवेलेबल, मोबाइल नंबर गिव्स नेम, नेम गिव्स दिस। लास्ट वन, नीचे बिल्डिंग के गेट पर भी गाड़ी पार्क हुई है मैडम, और आपको आके उन्होंने बोला कि गाड़ी निकालो, आपका कोई नंबर है, आप कैसे फाइंड आउट करोगे किसकी गाड़ी है? परिवहन, क्या मिलेगा परिवहन से? ओनर ऑफ द कार। और क्या मिलेगा?
उसका मोबाइल इंश्योरेंस,
रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर। और गाड़ी कौन सी है?
गाड़ी में
एक्सेलेंट एक्सेलेंट एक्सेलेंट, थैंक यू चिंतन भाई। मेरे क्लाइंट के पास बिल आ रहा है ट्रांसपोर्ट का, 10 टन का ट्रक, 10 टन का ट्रांसपोर्ट पेमेंट हो रहा है, मैंने गाड़ी नंबर निकाला, परिवहन में डाला, मालूम पड़ा ट्रक का कैपेसिटी है 1 टन, 1 टन, राइट। And I'll give you live example. My client is a real estate construction client. रेती अभी भी बॉम्बे में चोरी का आता है, सुबह 4 बजे रेती आता है हर क्लाइंट के पास, अगर रेती लेता है तो ब्रास में आता है, 10 ट्रक आए, 3-3 ब्रास के। इट इज अ ढगला ऑफ स्टैंड, इट इज अ माउंटेन ऑफ स्टैंड, राइट। रेती का तो ढगला ही है ना, कैसे गिनेगा कितना है? The builder says, my client tells me कि सर ये 30 ब्रास नहीं है, चलान है, मेरा सिक्योरिटी का स्टैंप है, मेरे सुपरवाइजर का भी एक्नॉलेजमेंट है कि हाँ आया है। अभी ये चोरी कैसा पकड़े? तो 20 से ये व्हीकल नंबर है, नहीं है। वेंडर को बोलो व्हीकल नंबर चलान पे लिख के देने के लिए। We made a list of all the vehicle number for 3 months, mapping with the परिवहन database. जैसे मैप किया, मालूम पड़ा एक व्हीकल है 3 व्हीलर, एक व्हीकल है 2 व्हीलर स्कूटर, स्कूटर पे कितना आ रहा है? 3 ब्रास रहती। 17 lakh rupees the client recovered from the third party vendor. So all of these layer of technology will have to be added. I will keep on talking about technology till the day end, and I can keep on talking about procurement, what we do till the day end. The question is, are you doing anything like this? Now, let me come to the slides. So the first important layer according to me is, whether it is Tally, whether it is SAP, whether it is Oracle, whatever is the software your client is using, उसमें जो कंट्रोल बन सकता है उसको बना दो, तो वो कंट्रोल ऑटोमेटिकली वर्क करेगा। If that control is working or not, for that also you can write an analytics query using either Excel or IDEA or ACL, or you can write queries using Python and SQL. And I will request you humbly that although we are all chartered accountant, please learn SQL or Python. WRC is conducting a course, 60 hours, Saturday evening, Sunday morning, घर पे बैठ के कर सकते हो, खाली 9,000 रुपया फीस है। SQL Python लर्न करोगे, ऑफिस में भी यूज होएगा काफी सारी चीजों के लिए। और अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं मेरी बहुत ज्यादा उम्र हो गई है, like me, then you appoint some young person from your office, so that they learn. You tell them क्या check करना है, and he will write the query for you. Now, once these queries are run in whatever way, then you are doing analytic procedure. You are selecting statistical samples, and you will have to have some mechanism of एक document management के लिए कोई solution software रखना पड़ेगा। आइडिया का भी है, फिर ये टीममेट भी है, PwC का, प्रोटीविटी गवर्नेंस पोर्टल भी है, एक ई-टर्न करके सॉफ्टवेयर है, उसका भी सॉफ्टवेयर है, you can keep the documents etc inside. Now when you come to internal audit, अगर internal audit में if I want to do a procure to pay process, then I generally make a risk control matrix, someone was talking about. And in many of your clients, internal control over financial reporting will be applicable, right?
yes,
और आप उसका रिपोर्ट भी दे रहे हो, and the guidance code very clearly says when you talk about internal control over financial reporting, there are three aspects to it. A normal process control, which we talked about, PR, PO, three quotation, comparative statement, all of those. Second is IT general control, maker, checker, authority matrix, limit, all of those which is there in the IT. And the third in the this thing is entity level controls. Anti-bribery policy, anti-corruption policy, code of conduct, code of ethics, all of those. But the guidance note is very clear and you write in your report. The most important thing is design and then operating effectiveness. Are you with me? Design का मतलब ये है कि किधर ना किधर by way of word या flow chart या by way of risk and control, the process should be, those aspects of the process which are going to impact your financial statement should be documented. And then there should be a method of testing. There should be a testing template. You should keep the document. You should go and do the testing. And then you give a report. Okay, yes, the internal controls or financial reporting are working effectively. And if there is no design, then you should write in your report that the client follows a certain specified purpose, process for procurement, raising purchase requisition, purchase order, GRN. Yeah, in the client organization, there is an oral process for procurement, but they don't raise purchase requisition. They raise purchase order. They don't do quality check, but they have a form of accepting the material and they have a form of approving invoices. But this process is not documented. And the guidance note goes and says, if the process is not documented, आपने क्या चेक किया है वो डॉक्यूमेंट करो एक पेपर पे और वो जितने सैंपल लिए उस सैंपल में हर सैंपल में सेम प्रोसेस हो रहा है कि नहीं ये कंफर्म करो और अगर कंफर्म है कि क्लाइंट ने बोला मैं ये प्रोसेस फॉलो करता हूं यही लिखा है तो दैट मींस द डिजाइन इज देयर एंड इट इज वर्किंग इफेक्टिवली आग बंद करके रिपोर्ट नहीं देना चाहिए गाइडेंस नोट और स्टैंडर्ड्स में बहुत कुछ है statutory audit is getting very risky. Fees is not important and the amount of fees does not reduce the liability which is there on us. Okay. So policy procedure I talked about, internal control I talked about, internal financial control I talked about, and I talked about a lot of analytics and value add. Let me touch only one thing. Someone touched upon there, enterprise risk management, ERM. Again, excellent thing. India may only large organizations do it. Possibly you may not get opportunity, but if you're working in industry, you will be able to help there. But then there what happens is, like a risk policy is prepared, risk committee is prepared, then risk champions are appointed in each department in the organization, and that champion on a regular basis keeps on identifying what is the risk. कोविड हुआ तो क्या रिस्क है अगर इजराइल और हमास का वॉर हो गया पैलेस्टीन का और अगर ऑयल बहुत ज्यादा कंज्यूम हो रहा है ये क्लाइंट के पास तो कैसे आएगा ऑयल प्राइसेस बढ़ेंगे क्या परचेस कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगा क्या प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट बढ़ेगा क्या हेंस सेल प्राइस विल बी इंक्रीज क्या XYZ there can be any risk in an organization so all those risks have to be updated on a regular basis into a database then there is a rating scale for impact and likelihood on a scale of 1 to 5 वो रेटिंग को इवैल्यूएट करने के whether it is a low risk or medium risk or high risk फिर वो रेटिंग को मिटिगेट करने के लिए एक प्रोसेस they put up and then they keep on again evaluating whether it is mitigated or whether it is moving from high to medium or medium to low and something is moving from a low to medium or medium to high थोड़ा टफ है हाई एंड है लेकिन I don't want to spend more time because there is a lot to cover for me okay So I'll quickly now touch the slides. Then I'll wait for 2 minutes. आप तब तक अपनी क्वेश्चन फ्रेम करके रखो and I'll be able to touch upon few questions. So this is the internal audit. Okay, the first box there are some venture capital PE fund will tell you that 4 audit कर लो in a year, 4 process audit. There are larger organizations who will tell you कि prepare an audit universe कि क्या क्या audit हो सकता है, and then it will go to the board audit committee and they will tell you whether 4 audits or 8 audits or 10 audits to be done. Okay. Some people outsource the full internal audit, you can pick it up. Of course, we talked about the internal control over financial reporting. Then internal audit function को भी audit करना पड़ता है. As per SIA, Standard on Internal Audit, and as per IIA Global Framework. So that is called quality assurance review, and you can even do quality assurance review. जैसे यहाँ पे peer review होता है वैसा. Okay, once in 3 years or once in 5 years. Transformation, I talked about the whole analytics, API analytics, document management, also. Then there is audit committee advisory, IT audits. IT audit is a massive big universe. आपके client के पास software license कितने हैं? Laptops और computers कितने? Asset, physical access control, then access control, master data management, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, ethical hacking of website, intrusion detection. Ethical hacking of website एक assignment 10 लाख से नीचे नहीं होगा. ठीक है. Then again, if the fraud happens, so taking the hard drive from the computer, extracting data from hard drive by itself is a business. Then doing the whole fraud governance and investigation becomes a bigger area of practice again. So that is the whole domain for internal audit. I talked a lot about the technology in internal audit. Let me not spend more time. Internal control over financial reporting. We talked about design, operating testing, selection of samples, creating a risk control matrix, and then giving a statutory audit report. In larger companies, they want people like us to come as consultant, do the design, do the testing, so that a big 4 or whichever larger firm can go and give the report. Okay, and they will do their own design and testing again. So that is the whole thing there. Enterprise risk management we talked about, risk committee, champions, identifying the risk, doing the risk rating, and keeping on adding the risk so that the organization knows what can go wrong or what will happen in the future. हो सकता है कि अगर रिस्क रजिस्टर स्ट्रॉन्ग होता तो पेटीएम को एडवांस में मालूम पड़ जाता कि ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है यहाँ पे. ठीक है. हो सकता है कि पॉलिकैप को एडवांस में मालूम पड़ जाता कि यहाँ पे बिल नहीं हो रहा है, जीएसटी नहीं पेमेंट हो रहा है या whatever. Okay. So that way the polycap CFO and CEO. There is space on this side. You can come please. यहाँ पे है काफी chairs. ERM is again a big assignment. I have not seen anyone taking an ERM assignment for less than 30 lakh rupees. SOPs we talked about, standard operating procedure या policy procedure या delegation authority matrix हमने बात किया. और depending on the organization, policy procedure लिखने के लिए people can take anywhere from 10 lakh rupees to 40, 50, 60 lakh rupees. Okay. Risk and compliance again. When you go to a bank and financial services, there are treasury risks, there are operation risks, there are compliance risks, and again there are a lot of compliance risks which every organization can it matters. And this is capital project consultancy one slide. Lot of larger organizations like the Lodas and the Kalpatrus, etc. They want someone to run the whole capital project consultancy. And there are organizations like maybe a Bombay Lang or another banks who will come and tell you, like, this is my capital budget. Now during the year you put your 3-4 people team to see like which procurement comes first, which project. ऐसा नहीं कि सब कुछ एक साथ में जनवरी में चालू कर देंगे, अप्रैल में चालू कर देंगे, बजट भी चाहिए, कैश फ्लो भी चाहिए. So which project is important, which comes, then the quotation, comparative statement, this, that, capitalization, borrowing cost and everything. The whole process end to end you can run for them as a consultant. Any questions? Otherwise I can proceed to the next one.
Exhaustive.
Okay, sir. Great. Let us go ahead. Social audit. Anyone heard anything about social audit?
Third.
Okay.
Third.
Bolo. Yeah.
The social standards have come up, and the listed companies, the top 1,000 are already reporting it on a report on the
What is that report called?
BRSR.
BRSR. Very good. BRSR के बारे में सुना है किसी ने? कितने लोगों ने सुना? हाथ ऊपर करेंगे. 1, 2, 3 लोगों ने सुना है BRSR. Business responsibility and sustainability reporting. Very good. Important thing. And anything else?
16 to 18 criteria are there.
Anyone? Any idea about the social audit examination?
There is the examination that we get by NISM. I think by NISM there is an examination which is taken.
कितना फीस है एग्जाम का? कितने मार्क्स है? कितने क्वेश्चंस है?
Not.
किसी ने सोशल ऑडिट का एग्जाम पास किया है इधर? नहीं. ओके. आप कुछ बताना चाह रहे थे?
social audit, means institute itself has started with the social audit examinations, and very good. There is around means 6 weeks course for completing that.
Excellent.
Means then examinations, and then means the certifications has been.
Very good. Anyone, anything that you heard about the social stock exchange in India?
Yes, just again heard about it.
What is that?
There
Who
will
can
be,
list for social stock exchange?
there will be carbon credit trading on that. This is what I've heard from the
Okay.
stock exchanges.
Okay.
I think the NGOs and the NGOs, they will be listed.
NGOs and NPOs can be listed, yeah.
This is a stock exchange where any non-profit making organization get listed. And the donors can volunteer and they can get so fundraising through staff action.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for all the input. So I think थोड़ा बहुत मालूम पड़ गया होगा आपको. So first, let us go to social audit. So again, this is a Section 8 company called Institute of Social Auditors of India. This is formed under the notification of SEBI. This is like, this will be monitored and controlled by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India under the aegis of SEI. Okay, and this is a self-regulatory body, and a social auditor can be CA as well as a non-CA. Okay, now there is a certification which you will have to go through to become the social auditor. The certification is here. I have given you a slide. You can go to this link and register yourself. You can download the material. 1,500 rupees is the fees for appearing for the exam. 100 questions. I am coming to you in a minute. 100 questions. 60 is the passing mark. Every correct answer will give you 1 mark. Every wrong answer will deduct 0.25. 4 wrong करोगे 1 mark cancel हो जाएगा आपका. ठीक है? तो अगर sure हो तो answer करो, नहीं हो तो मत करो. Okay? As you go ahead, let me go ahead and then I'll take the questions. This is the syllabus. Companies Act, Governance, Audit Committee, Board, Share Capital, ये सब भी है. SEBI, AODR रूल भी है. ये सब चीजें पढ़ने का है. तो 1500 रुपया देना है, रजिस्टर करना है, मटेरियल डाउनलोड करना है, मटेरियल डाउनलोड करके पढ़ना है, पढ़ने के बाद एग्जाम देना है, एग्जाम के अंदर 60% मार्क लाना है, and you will become a member, you will become a social auditor. You give your Aadhaar card, PAN card, etc. and then you get the certificate for 3 years. So you will be able to do social audit for 3 years. What after 3 years? I don't know because it is not there. 3 साल बाद वापस एग्जाम देना पड़ेगा, 3 साल बाद रिन्यू होगा तो कैसा होगा अभी तक नहीं लिखा है, इसके लिए मेरे को भी नहीं मालूम है, शायद आंसर आएगा, it will come. Okay, let me go ahead a little. So now what has happened is the ICI, like the ICI, you know, there is an accounting and auditing standards board which comes up with accounting standards, guidelines, auditing standards. वैसे ICI का हर एक था SIA standard, internal audit standards board IASB, okay, which issued the SIAs. Similarly अभी ICI ने हर एक board form किया है and that is called SRSB, Sustainability Reporting Standards Board. And the Sustainability Reporting Standard Board for the first time has come up with 16 sustainable standards. And these standards are SAS 100, eradication of hunger, poverty, malnutrition. मतलब अगर कोई NPO या फिर कोई बड़ा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो CSR कर रहा है, वो eradication of hunger पे काम कर रहा है, so then this standard will be applicable to them. They will have to follow. Similarly, promoting education and employment and livelihood, 300. Similarly, working during like what do you say, when a earthquake or something happens, natural calamity, and that time only that NGO will work with a separate standard. There are 16 sustainability standards which have been issued by ICAI. Now, these are the 16 themes which have been prescribed in the Companies Act as well. So, anyone to whom these type of activities they are doing, they will select which area they are going to work in, and on the basis of that, ICAI has come up with standards. Let me go ahead a little. थोड़ा धीरे-धीरे आगे बढ़ते हैं. Business responsibility and sustainability reporting. Anyone wants to say anything? What is getting covered in that?
These are all non-accounting issues basically.
Non-accounting issues, क्या-क्या है on an average? थोड़ा सा एक दो चीज अगर बता पाओ
What
आप.
I've heard, there are things like how much is the gender equality in the workforce, your power consumption details. This is what I've heard.
Spot on. Very good.
Renewable,
And
non-renewable sources of electricity.
किसको applicable है BRSR?
Currently to the top 1,000 listed companies.
Top 1,000 listed companies by market capitalization.
Again, how is your company giving back to the environment and where they are operating, how they are impacting the environment and sustainability on that?
Excellent. So the government now wants to see, okay, like how are organizations giving back to the society? Are you releasing chemicals in the water bodies? उल्लासनगर में नदी देखोगे तो पूरा लाल पानी बहता रहता है नदी में बरसों से. डोंबिवली MIDC में जाओगे तो रात को 8 बजे के बाद आप ब्रीथ नहीं कर सकते, इतना गंदा बात आता है केमिकल का. Are you releasing chemicals in the air?
Yes.
Are you releasing pollutants in water body? Are you putting अभी एक किधर एक किसी का वो मिनिस्टर का कोई था कि उधर खड्डा खोद के नीचे जमीन के अंदर ही केमिकल डाल रहा है. So are you doing anything like that? Okay. Similarly, like we mentioned, there are three parts to it. When you talk about ESG, one is environment. Environment में tree plantation से लेके everything. Then we talk about S, that is the social factors. Social factors के अंदर like we mentioned, how many women in your workforce? How many women on the production floor? How many children below the age of 18? Can you employ them? Now, one other important thing. How many physically or specially able people in your workforce? मतलब क्या handicap लोग को छोड़ देगा क्या बड़ा बड़ा कंपनी उनके लिए कुछ नहीं करेगा क्या? Specially abled people को employ करना पड़ेगा. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now, a lady may not have hands or legs, but she can sit on the reception and receive the calls. Similarly, there are a lot of specially able people who will be able to fit into your work profile. So how many will have to be reported? And when you go to the governance, do you have a sexual harassment committee? Do you have a remuneration committee? Do you have a whistleblowing mechanism? Do you have a code of conduct, code of ethics? All of these. So top 1,000 companies by market capitalization in India had to report on BRSR on 31st March 2023. Last year, management reporting था. और management मतलब CEO और CFO. इनके पास टाइम ही नहीं है. जो इंडस्ट्री वाले थे, they will agree. So they want to outsource to someone to create this record and register for me. And there were firms who went and helped them in creating this record and register and charged anything from 20 lakh rupees to 40-50 lakh rupees for implementing all those records and registers. So while we sitting in Bombay, sitting in JB Nagar, do not know that there is an opportunity. And why we are not helping those top 1,000 or now the second 1,000 or maybe the third 1,000 companies. So we need to identify, go and start first, read BRSR. What is the requirement? What will be required? Like we touched upon one thing. How many units of electricity consumed by the organization across? मतलब इंडिया हो, चाइना हो, फिलीपींस हो, 50 डेपो हो, 5 फैक्ट्री हो, हर एक मीटर रीडिंग लेके किधर तो रजिस्टर बनाना पड़ेगा कि इतना यूनिट कंज्यूम किया है. उसमें से how many unit generated through renewable sources is required to be reported. Okay, are we okay?
Yes.
Now, so next year possibly first year was management reporting, self-reporting, and second year now December 31st March 24 management assurance report will have to be given. And this assurance report possibly will be given by your faithfully people like us, chartered accountants, okay? So which means whether the record register is correct and then you will give the report. Second year may lot more organizations will be covered in BRSR, then lot more and then lot more. And I'm sure as we give the reports, we'll have to have some knowledge about the ESG aspects of it also, which is happening in India. 22-23 top 1,000 listed companies, what is the effort, disclosure that are required, okay. Then part A, part B, part C, जैसे income tax return में होता है थोड़ा general information है, name of the company, address, nature of business, ये वो part A में, and then part B and C. There are some principles which are given. Those principles will have to be complied with, and it covers in the form there. Let me come here so that I don't miss out anything. Okay, again, I will share the slides, you can read in PDF. Director responsibility statement, implementation of BRSR, okay? Okay, so these are the things which are there in the Companies Act. Like I said, Companies Act has specified these are the various opportunities in BRSR, creating record register, going and helping them in reducing which fossil fuel to use to reduce the emission, which chemical to use to reduce the discharge. तो वो भी टेक्निकल अपना इंजीनियर्स को आप साथ में लेके वो भी काम कर सकते हो, उसका और ज्यादा फीस मिलेगा, ठीक है? तो this is where we are. Let me go to the next one. CSR. What do you know about CSR? CSR 15 थोड़ा सा.
2% of the net profit.
How much percentage?
2%.
2% of the net profit. Very good.
The average of the last past years.
Where is it required to be spent on what type of activities?
Schedule 7 activities.
Schedule 7 activities. listed.
Schedule 7 activities which are listed, okay, and anything else? अच्छा, अभी corporates need to, people who, those corporates who get covered in this, they need to spend 2% of their profit on CSR activities. Do they spend in India?
Yes.
Some yes, everyone else. So the regulator of the government feels the promoters give check, take cash, many of them, and that they don't really spend for the benefit of the society. That is the government's feeling. You may not agree. Okay, I may not agree. I'm not giving your view, and hence they feel it is important that people spend the 2% for the society, for whatever purpose they say, and ensure that upliftment of the society or the country or the nation happens. And which is where to these large corporates who spend this money, whether they spend properly or not, possibly a social audit will become applicable.
Yes, should
And when the social audit becomes applicable, not chartered accountant, but the social auditors who are empaneled with the Institute of Social Auditors of India will be able to issue the report. Now, how will the report be issued? Again, every company has to form a risk committee, prepare a risk policy, say I will work on eradication of hunger, I will work on educating school people, I will work on tree plantation or environment, or जो भी बोला है that should be as per the 16 things listed by the Companies Act. And while the social auditor goes and does the audit, he will have to ensure that that SAS 100, 200, 300 is complied with by the company. Are we okay till now? Excellent. Let me go ahead then. So, CSR is a way of life. CSR is not a policy, it is not a rule, it is not a regulation. You have to give back. ठीक है? अभी मिडिल ईस्ट कंट्री में नहीं बोलना पड़ता कि don't spit on the road or don't give the signal because the penalty is huge. You can go to jail. But यहाँ पे that basic also is not there. So possibly that also is required to be said. And there are certain things which will be very common, but I'm sure other this thing will exceed. Go ahead. Now, these are the companies, net worth, etc. will be covered. Then a CSR policy will have to be formed, CSR committee will have to be formed. There will have to be 2 directors in the company who will have to be there. So all of these who will do? आप ही करेंगे ना, you are faithful in chartered accountants. कमिटी कैसे बनाना है, पॉलिसी क्या होना चाहिए, क्या काम करना चाहिए, उसके लिए क्या रिकॉर्ड रखना है, क्या रजिस्टर रखना है, ये सब काम है करने के लिए. You can go and do the work with the large organizations, and necessarily they will not go to the larger big fours or larger firms for this. They can come to an organization who understands and who can do this work. 2% of net profit we talked about. Following activities are not eligible for CSR. खुद का प्रोडक्ट का ब्रांडिंग ये वो जनरल कॉमन सेंस है जो दिया है उधर. अगर कुछ बढ़ जाता है पैसा कैन बी कैरी फॉरवर्ड ये वो दो आंसर हियर इन द स्लाइड. No problem. Income tax angle से something is answered here. Direct spending by the company as per circular. These are the areas which are listed. As for again, and on this line only standards have been formed. Social stock exchange, last one, and then maybe we'll be able to move to the next area, which also needs a lot of time. Okay, okay. So, social stock exchange, like the normally on a national stock exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, large companies list shares and debentures they issue. Shares मतलब equity, debentures के ऊपर fixed interest मिलता है, ये वो सब है. NGOs या NPOs, not for profit organizations and NGOs, they are doing good work, assuming, and they want to get money from international location, from Gates Corporation, 500 करोड़ रुपए मेरे को चाहिए, मेरे को लगता है मैं बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा हूँ. लेकिन there is no trust factor कि इसको दे इंडिया में या नहीं दे ये एनजीओ को, ये लोग करेंगे स्पेंड के पैसा खा जाएंगे. So that is where this whole process will build that credibility, and these NGOs and NPOs will be able to list on the social stock exchange. Again, first social stock exchange in the world, and subsidiary of it is here. The company is called BSC Samman Limited, and NGOs and NPOs will be able to list there. And when you say listing, again the whole process for them also before listing, policy procedure, a decent ERP, process of sanctioning vouchers, appointing employees, because 100, 200 crores if they collect, they will spend there. So all of those processes will have to be followed, and you will help them in implementing before going for the IPO or for the listing. Once the listing is done, they will not be able to issue shares or debentures, but they will be able to issue zero coupon bonds. These zero coupon bonds, you pay the money, it is like donation for you, they collect and they spend, and this is not like you will not get your money back. Okay, that is what it is. Let me move ahead quickly to a little more then. So, not for profit, social organization, this is the condition, this is what it is, and then here there are some FAQs which you can read through. I'll share the slides with you. I think I have covered quite a lot of things here. Zero coupon, zero principal bonds. There are some other options also in which money can be collected. Benefit of social stock exchange again. Okay. And there are opportunities for chartered accountant. So I think on this one we covered again. This is about sustainability thing. Sustainability worldwide is becoming big. And in sustainability, you can do anything. You can do MIS, you can do strategy, you can do implementation, you can write policies, you can go into performance reporting, you can do multiple things. There are enough and more opportunities in the sustainability space, and it can, each and every one of them can give you good fees. This slide also will share with you. I don't have enough time for questions right now, so I'm not taking questions on this stage, but I will come to you and I will take a question on the break. I am here, okay? 10:34, madam, as per request 11 o'clock, so we got 26 minutes. 26 minutes में कुछ कवर करना चाहता हूँ, बहुत फास्ट कवर करूँगा, कुछ समझेगा तो ऊपर से जाएगा, sorry, but I am always available. My mobile number, email ID is there, and I'm sure you guys are smart. You will pick up something, you will write something, and then if you are serious and you want to practice in that area, you will come to me again, okay? So the first one, compliance. Every organization today, there is a responsibility of the board, and the board has to ensure that all the compliances are met by the company. अगर multiple depots है, multiple location है, multiple state है इंडिया में या multiple country में operation है और बहुत सारा factories और depots है या offices है, तो CEO और CFO को खुद को भी नहीं मालूम कि compliance हो रहा है कि नहीं. महाराष्ट्र में शॉर्टेड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट मतलब इनके हिसाब से बाहर मराठी में बोर्ड में नाम लिखना पड़ता है, ठीक है, और दूसरे स्टेट में और कुछ होगा. तो यू विल नो if it is a ITES company, KPO, BPO है, so then again, like women employees can be not left alone after 8 o'clock in the evening, someone will escort, इतने बजे के बाद employees को घर पे छोड़ने के लिए गाड़ी, ये. If it is a manufacturing company, I'm sure many of you have got a manufacturing class, किसके पास है manufacturing class? कितने compliance applicable है? ठीक है, लाइट मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट के बारे में सुना है? हेवी मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट के बारे में सुना है, कभी पढ़ा है? अगर कोई केमिकल लेके प्रोडक्ट फैक्ट्री के अंदर ट्रक आती है तो उसके अंदर फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर होना चाहिए, ऐसा लिखा है, और नहीं किया तो उसके ऊपर पेनल्टी है. सिलेंडर का रूल किसी ने सुना? हर कंपनी में वेल्डिंग करना पड़ता है, इसके लिए सिलेंडर लगता है, सिलेंडर गोल्ड रहता है, तो उसमें एक्ट में लिखा है कि गोल्ड सिलेंडर अगर गिर गया तो उसके ऊपर आदमी गिर सकता है, उसकी जान जा सकती है. इट इज डेंजर टू ह्यूमन लाइफ And then cylinder has to be kept in standing form and it has to be tied with a chain. And if you don't tie it with a chain, then there is no penalty. Are you with me? So guys, a board member sitting there, he does not know which compliance and when it will go wrong and when will he be put to jail. बोर्ड मेंबर को भी आजकल नोटिस भेज रहे हैं और उल्टा से जेल में डालने की बात कर रहे हैं और सीएफओ तो कभी भी जा सकते, ठीक है, इंक्लूडिंग स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर एंड इंटरनल ऑडिटर. So now your companies are telling the CFO and CEOs that we want every quarter a compliance report, and which is when yours faithfully we come into play. There are a lot of compliance tools. You go to a company, understand their business, understand the compliance that applicable in that organization. Who is the maker and who is the checker? कौन रजिस्टर बनाएगा, कौन रिटर्न भरेगा, कौन चालान पे करेगा और कौन चेक करेगा कि चालान पे हुआ और सही जगह पे पे हुआ, और वो सब अपलोड होगा एक सॉफ्टवेयर में जो क्लाउड पे निकालेगा, जो आपका रहेगा, और उसके बेसिस पे आप रिपोर्ट निकालोगे, कुछ चेक करोगे और रिपोर्ट आप बोर्ड को दोगे एवरी क्वार्टर. Now, if it is a decent organization, you can charge 50,000 rupees a quarter. 4 क्वार्टर का 2 लाख रुपया, 100 क्वार्टर का 2 करोड़ रुपया. Are you with me? Only 100 companies in India and Tata Power has got more than 100 subsidiaries. एक ग्रुप में घुस गया तो खत्म. Reliance Power में घुस गया तो एक ग्रुप में घुस गया तो खत्म. Are you with me? Now I cannot tell you company by company what are the compliances, but there are a lot of tools you can Google and you can see. Next one, related party. Related party reporting का responsibility board के ऊपर है. टैक्स ऑडिट का 48 भी है, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड है, स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट का रिपोर्ट करना है, 1000 जगह पे रिक्वायरमेंट है, ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग का भी रिक्वायरमेंट है. एंड वन बैड न्यूज़, मनीष भाई नॉट देयर बट आई टेल यू, सी राइट नाउ income tax and GST is working together, and your income tax number of sales and your GST number of sales are compared, purchase are compared, and your clients are getting notices. अभी I was meeting the chief commissioner of income tax and chief said that transfer pricing is also घर पे करना, और ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग रिपोर्ट के अंदर आप कॉलम में डालते हो नंबर्स, लेकिन रिलेटेड पार्टी रिपोर्टिंग का वर्ड रहता है, so they are using RTA bot to remove from the word notes and bring it into an Excel format, whatever visible format, compile with the transfer pricing report and give you a report, send you a notice. Now that is not enough. When you give the transfer pricing report, what do you see? International database to check, अगर 3 कोटेशन नहीं है तो ये इंटरनेशनली रेट क्या है और ये आर्म्स लेंथ है क्या नहीं है. Same database they are going to use, and as we speak, they said that 3,000 notices are getting ready to be issued to your client for undervaluation of sale and overvaluation of purchase. Okay, congratulations. So, the document is not used कर रहा है. Are we using that data? That is the answer. And if no, are we doing something wrong in our life? That we have to think through. Now, coming back to related party, again, you have a software on your cloud, on your server. You go and tell the client, I come and do one-time study. कि कितनी parties है, what is the relationship, what is the nature of transaction, whether there are free quotations or not, whether it is arm's length or not. Once I do that, I'll put it into my software. Then every quarter I will come और उतना जितना invoices होगा देखेंगे उसमें कोई नया product नया service तो नहीं है, and then accordingly I give you a report. That report can again be tabled in the board every quarter. And the fee is like that. 50,000 rupees a quarter, साल का 2 लाख रुपया, छोटा कंपनी तो 25,000, साल का 1 लाख रुपया, 100 क्लाइंट करोगे तो 2 करोड़ या 1 करोड़. Okay, I'm running a कौन बनेगा करोड़पति, be with me. Enterprise asset management. How many people do private limited company audit? Private limited company audit थोड़ा जरा सा हाथ ऊपर करेंगे तो मेरे को मालूम पड़ेगा, सब लोग जान भी रहे. Okay, very good. कार्बन विचार रिक्वायरमेंट है फिक्स असेट्स के लिए. क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है? फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन ऑफ फिक्स एसेट. ओके, और एसेट रजिस्टर के बारे में क्या है?
Assets register has to be maintained and it has to be updated regularly.
Very good. मतलब what does it mean? मतलब क्या क्या चाहिए? कोई और बता सकता है थोड़ा सा?
Option of the property, whether it is in the name of the company or that is another.
कंपनी के नाम पे है कि नहीं, डिस्क्रिप्शन है और
Location.
लोकेशन होना चाहिए एसेट का, कि ये प्रोजेक्टर इधर लगा है, ये कॉन्फ्रेंस रूम में, क्या वो कॉन्फ्रेंस रूम है, फर्स्ट फ्लोर पे या फिफ्थ फ्लोर पे, ये टेबल दूसरे फ्लोर के ऊपर, कुर्सी किधर है, और व्हेन यू गो टू अ बैंक, पेंटिंग किया होता है, लिखा होता है, जो स्टिकर होता है, किधर बारकोड होता है. एंड
Proper numbering of the.
Numbering.
Barcode or tag or unique number. And
The location, with the number codification, with the location, the short form.
excellent, thank you for all the inputs. I'm sure each of your client has got a full-fledged, complete fixed asset register. Like sir ना बोल रहे, कितने लोग ना बोल रहे? हाँ, many people are saying no, which means 100% sure कि आप लोग qualify कर रहे हैं. क्या करेंगे सर? अभी DC डिसिप्लिनरी कमिटी कारोबार लिखा है, एसेट रजिस्टर है फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन है, उसके अंदर नोटिस नो. It says very clearly whether fixed asset register record appropriate details are maintained, whether physical verification is carried out by the management district if any notice during the course of the year have been done with appropriate in the books of accounts or not. And title deeds for immovable properties needs to be verified. ABC, 1 ABC car. Here, the fact is, many organizations do not have an asset register. अगर एम्प्लॉय को उठा के लेके चला गया तो मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा. सबसे बड़ा बात है कि इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी लेते समय कितने एसेट्स कवर करने हैं, कितना वैल्यू का इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी लेना है. थर्ड थिंग, इफ अ फायर और समथिंग हैपेंस, then they are not able to claim the insurance because they basically do you have asset register, was the asset in your register, did the asset have a unique code, where was the location, and what was the original cost, and what is the value that you are asking for, and is that value right or wrong. So for the management also there is trouble, and which means we can do this end-to-end physical verification. And FCA register के काफी सारे सॉफ्टवेयर अवेलेबल है, आप गूगल कर लो, आपको काफी ऑप्शंस मिलेंगे. You go and talk to the vendor, set up a virtual call, understand the functionality, and then decide which software vendor you want to go with ahead. You don't need to develop your own software. If you want to develop, you can, but you don't need to develop the software. Software will be your vendor, it will be live on their cloud or server. You can print the barcode from them, you can go and stick the barcode, you can do physical verification, read it with the mobile or something, barcode reader, and make an asset register for them, reconcile the books of accounts. Physical verification of fixed asset, 2-3-4 लाख रुपए का असाइनमेंट है साल का, ईयर ऑन ईयर, और पूरा बारकोडिंग करके अगर प्रोसेस करना है तो डिपेंडिंग ऑन द कंपनी 10 लाख से 50 लाख रुपए का काम. और अगर वो क्लाइंट आपके पास आ गया और आपका सॉफ्टवेयर यूज करता है क्लाउड या सर्वर पे, तो लाइफ टाइम यू कैन चार्ज देम सम यूजर वाइज फीस या व्हाटएवर फीस. ओके, लेट मी गो अहेड. This is a whole EAM enterprise asset management solution. Inventory verification. Anyone done inventory verification? Again, inventory verification, many organizations do it quarterly, some do it half yearly, some do it yearly, and it is a decent fee. You can use the software, you can use the solution, and you can use it. Using a technology, you can do it. Payroll. Anyone has worked on payroll solution software anytime? एक कोई आंसर payroll के बारे में थोड़ा सा? Yes, please.
Creator maybe can be used.
Very good. And what does it do?
Basically,
And if you want to do it for your client, what will you do?
see, basically, in our firm, we provide a service called as payroll to finalization, because many of the foreign branches, they don't want to set up their accounting department in India, and they want to keep their overhead at a lower level. So this is something, a cloud-based platform where once you feed your masters, that is basic structure, then payroll can be processed in 10 minutes of time on a month-on-month basis.
How much fees per employee per month?
So actually software charge around 15 rupees per employee per month,
And you charge
and we basically charge around 1000 rupees per employee
per year?
per month.
Per month?
Sorry, so basically per month, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it can be anything from 200 rupees, 1000 rupees. Thank you very much. So see, basically again, a payroll software on your cloud or on server. कोई client है जिसके पास 7 employee है, मेरे को क्या करना है, एक बार इनके साथ में समझना है, डेजिग्नेशन वाइज कंसल्टेंट, डायरेक्टर, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर, उसका एक सैलरी स्ट्रक्चर बना के देना कि इतना HR लो, इतना ये लो, इतना मेडिक्लेम है, इतना ये है, हो गया. Then put everything inside in your software. Employee number, name, and the structure of salary. That is done. Then every month, what do you need from the company? Only attendance. अटेंडेंस आएगा, एक्सेल अपलोड किया, पेरोल अपने आप कैलकुलेट हो जाएगा। प्रोफेशन टैक्स 200 रुपये हर महीना, फरवरी में 300, ESIC अगर है तो एप्लीकेबल, TDS है तो वैसा डिडक्ट हो जाएगा। एवरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन अप्रैल टेल द एम्प्लॉइज के तुम लोग क्या चीज में इन्वेस्ट करोगे, उसका हमको एस्टिमेट दे दो। And investment, and in the month of December basically have you invested, give us a proof. And if the employee says can invest 2 lakh rupees, but he invested only 1 lakh rupees by December, PF, LIC, whatever, then you need to recalculate and deduct the income tax in the next 3 months. Employee can go to your portal, download the salary slip, he can get the form 16, everything is digitally signed and everything is okay. My friend here says 1000 rupees per month, I say 200 rupees per month. And I got one client, 100 employees. So 200 into 100, 200 into 100 into 12. And similarly, if you have 100 clients, it can be crores of rupees revenue. Nothing much to be done. Okay? Nothing great. Okay? These are all not audit. This is not tax. This is management support, management consultancy. Let me go ahead to the next one. I will skip this. Store audit, depot audit, I'll cover everything. Here. So we have developed a solution called iPro Edge. Now, in this solution, let me explain to you the solution and then I'll come to you. But before even explaining the solution, let me give you one example. How many of you have seen a movie in a PVR? Multiplex में कितने लोगों ने picture देखा है भाई please? Friends, multiplex movie. सबने very good. क्या क्या चाहिए? What do you expect when you go to a multiplex? When you ask for cold drink, the glass should be full or little less. If the glass is little less full, which means for every 5 or 6 glass, you can make one additional glass and sell and pocket the cash. Ethics issue, revenue leakage. पॉपकॉर्न थोड़ा कम भर के देगा तो 5 या 6 के पीछे एक पॉपकॉर्न का चोरी। लास्ट शो में आपने समोसा मांगा, नहीं मिला। कस्टमर एक्सपीरियंस, समोसा ठंडा था, आप जाकर सोशल मीडिया पर लिखना चालू। सिमिलरली टिकट जो चाहिए वो नहीं मिला, आवाज बरोबर नहीं आ रहा था, एसी बरोबर नहीं चल रहा था, बाथरूम में गया था, शू पॉलिश में शू मतलब वो नहीं था, क्रीम नहीं था। दिस इज अ चेकलिस्ट व्हिच वी डू। 140 प्रॉपर्टीज सेम डे सेम शो, संडे शाम को 5 से 8, 140 प्रॉपर्टी में ऑडिटर्स जाएंगे। देयर इज सॉफ्टवेयर इट इज बिहाइंड, ऑल द डेटा इज देयर इन द सॉफ्टवेयर, द रिपोर्ट इज देयर, द गाय गोज देयर, ही इज गॉट अ मोबाइल, ही लुक्स एट द मोबाइल एंड सेज यस, टिकट जो चाहिए था मिल गया, यस, एसी बरोबर है, यस, कुछ नहीं है, ग्लास अगर आधा भर के दिया तो फोटो निकाल के अपलोड। By the time the movie is over and everyone completes the checklist and goes home, report is ready. Are you with me? Yes. And there is a central command office which is sitting in one common place. अगर चिंतन भाई को थिएटर में चले गए और टिकट ले रहे थे, इसने बोले कि लास्ट टाइम ये आया तो 6 महीना का ऑडिटर है, इसको बाहर निकालो। चिंतन भाई फोन करके बोलेगा मेरे को पकड़ लिया, तो दूसरा ऑडिटर तैयार रहेगा जिसको उधर बताएंगे, नहीं तो फिर वही प्रॉपर्टी कम होएगा। Something like that. You can go to a retail store, the manager is not there. He is on छुट्टी, the staff says today my manager is not there, उसको उठा दिए। तो हम लोग सरप्राइज करने को जाते तभी we also get surprised at times. But then there has to be someone. Now similarly, someone goes and says, what to check? So the command officer says, you check this, open this box, count this, take this photograph and do this. You want to do CNC, go and see the smoke detector and see the expiry date. So there is someone who is sitting there commonly who tells the auditor what is required to be done. Now, similarly, OYO property, OYO, कितना है बॉम्बे में? कितना? नंबर, thousands नहीं, कितना? 10,000? In Bombay 10,000? In MMRDA 20,000? In Maharashtra few lakhs or at least 1 million? And in India? Few billion, right? 2-4 crore OYO property. What do you expect in OYO? When you go to an OYO room, आपको क्या चाहिए सर? आप क्या expect करते हैं? फिर भी 1000 रुपए में अगर रुकना या 1500 में रुकना, what is your expectation, Krishna?
Clean bed.
Clean bed, okay? Basic. Bed sheet clean होना चाहिए. हर एक everyone expects that. Okay, and AC working क्या नहीं और ये सीजन में दिल्ली जाएगा तो हीटर है क्या नहीं वॉशरूम क्लीन है क्या नहीं ओके एंड रूम के अंदर कोई पहले का बॉटल या रबर तो नहीं पड़ा है ये तो नहीं पड़ा है अगर बाल पड़ा हुआ है किसी का रबर पड़ा हुआ क्या करेगा फोटो लेकर सोशल मीडिया पे पर solid how you call right today everyone can write on social media which means what the rating can go down the price the share price can go down what else what do you expect breakfast बोला है तो मिलेगा क्या नहीं white bread बोला है तो मिलेगा क्या नहीं that is what we do and we do 400 OEO properties every month but you cannot send the order from Bombay to Pune या बॉम्बे to नासिक या बॉम्बे to दिल्ली या बॉम्बे to नागपुर नागपुर जाके आने के लिए खर्चा हो जाएगा 8 से 10,000 रुपया फीस है इसका 4,000 रुपया 400 प्रॉपर्टी 4,000 रुपया फीस 16 लाख रुपया महीना 12 महीने का 2 करोड़ which means I need a network of auditors across India. I have got my people in 1,700 locations. Either my guys or CA firms or best auditors. और वो बंदा हार्डवेयर डेवलपमेंट के ऑडिट के लिए जाता है वो बंदा मतलब कोई बजाज स्कूटर के लिए नहीं जाता बजाज स्कूटर में आर्टिकल कैन गो ऑडिट डिवीजन में आर्टिकल कैन नॉट गो कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल में समवन कैन गो बट ताज चेंबर्स में दैट सेम आर्टिकल कैन नॉट गो so there are different categories of auditors depending on the different products and different level which is what we do tool software backend I think I have to stop now मेरा टाइम खत्म होने लग ही रहा है तो but friends hospitality ताजमहल होटल बोलो या कोस्टा कॉफी डे बोलो they need to do the audit shoes बाटा shoes बोलो या Skechers बोलो they need to do the audit okay you talk about a bank आपका क्रेडिट कार्ड बैंक बनाता है क्या मैन्युफैक्चर करता है क्या कौन करता है वेंडर तो वेंडर के बाद आपका डेटा जाता है कॉन्फिडेंशियल डेटा सिमिलरली चेकबुक बैंक खुद प्रिंट करता है क्या नहीं अगर आपने कार के ऊपर ईएमआई नहीं भरा तो कार खींच के लेके जाने के लिए बैंक का एम्प्लॉय आता है कि कोई वेंडर आता है so there are so many third party vendors which a bank and NBFC uses and there is an RBI requirement go and enter in your form on the RBI there is an RBI requirement which says you need to do a third party vendor and submit the report similarly for insurance company but then again when you go for empanelment there is a requirement proprietorship does not get work 3 partner 4 partner 100 crore 500 crore 1000 crore whatever those requirements are already complied with which means you have to make a larger form you have to make some methodology you have to go and do the work let me I think in the interest of time I will stop in 2-3 minutes
Then question answer.
we will now let me touch one more thing for pharma companies have to do the report what is the biggest risk in a pharma company expiry stock तो वो एक्सपायरी स्टॉक वापस भेजेगा तो ट्रांसपोर्ट का पैसा भी लगता है तो इसके लिए दे नीड एन ऑडिटर टू गो देयर एंड डिस्ट्रॉय एंश्योर दैट द स्टॉक इज डिस्ट्रॉयड एंड गिव अ सर्टिफिकेट बट व्हेन ऑडिटर गोस देयर रीड मल्टीपल अदर थिंग्स स्टॉक बरोबर लगा है कि नहीं अरेंज किया है कि नहीं सिक्योरिटी है कि नहीं स्मोक डिटेक्टर है कि नहीं कंपैरेटिव है कि नहीं बात मराठी में नाम लिखा है कि नहीं चेकलिस्ट यू गो टू एनीथिंग देयर इज अ चेकलिस्ट Vodafone how many towers how many people use Vodafone in your Vodafone mobile कितने टावर होंगे बॉम्बे में वोडाफोन के 1000 में क्या होगा हर बिल्डिंग पे एक चौथे बिल्डिंग में एक होगा लाइन ऑफ साइट डेटा गोज बाय लाइन ऑफ साइट देयर इज नो केबल लाइक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का केबल वैसा इसमें नहीं है राइट so there may be 10,000 towers similarly in India for me every year they do physical verification and for each tower physical verification asset they give 1,000 rupees and every telecom company spends few crore rupees 10-20 crore रुपया physical verification asset पे spend कर और वैसा so many people spend okay so inventory verification asset verification stores audit depot audit warehouse audit and checklist audit there can be many frauds there can be revenue leakages there can be a customer privacy issue there could be a customer only image and impact issue and which is like impacting many businesses okay we have a software mobile based we even have enabled geo tracking एक फार्मा कंपनी के लिए हमने क्या किया है कि like every sales manager, sales representative in the morning they will log in because you don't know whether the sales guy really goes to the doctor or not. वो घर पे बेटा डॉक्टर से बात करता है ऑर्डर प्लेस कर देता है but they want the sales guy to go to the doctor तो जियो टैगिंग किया तो वो कौन से लोकेशन में किधर जा रहा है वो हमको मालूम पड़ जाता है ठीक है इन द मॉर्निंग वी रन अ क्विज 10 सवाल है 4 आंसर है इफ द पर्सन गिव्स क्विज एंड द क्विज इज अबाउट द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ द कंपनी तो उसका प्रोडक्ट नॉलेज बढ़ता है और 10 में 10 देगा तो 100 रुपया क्रेडिट होता है और 10 में 9 देगा तो 90 रुपीज क्रेडिट होता है 30 दिन के बाद 3000 रुपया उसको मिलता है 12 महीने का 36,000 मिलता है क्वेश्चन अच्छे से आंसर करेगा तो उसको थोड़ा ऊपर से बोनस भी मिलता है सो दैट वे multiple things can be done if you use technology again app is mobile based है my only last request to everyone is friends first decide whether you want to do related party, whether you want to do payroll, whether you want to do compliance, whether you want to do fixed asset, whether you want to do stores and depot audits, or whether you want to do a checklist audit across the length and breadth of the country. क्या करना है? जो भी करना है, understand what are the various vendors, who are the people who are doing it, learn it from them. Identify the software. Make your own methodology. And once you make the methodology, then you do one small assignment. Once the assignment is done, then you can go to second client, third client, fourth client. Practice build करने में भी बहुत मेहनत और टाइम लगा है तो what I am telling you ये करने में भी टाइम जाएगा ऐसा नहीं है कि मैजिक बैंड है और रातों रात कुछ हो जाएगा no the answer is no efforts will be required but in the direction okay you can even do complete accounting like you were saying for Middle East clients in India you can do the complete VAT for the Middle East clients sitting here. So there are so many other things in my slides, but I don't have time. So what do you want to do? That is important. Second important thing I will talk about. See, listen to me carefully. I am a sitting council member and hence I am telling you carefully. I am not telling you कि आप लेटर कोई भी कलर का बनाओ. I am not telling you कि visiting card के अंदर institute में जो लिखा वो मत करो. And I am not telling you कि put up a neon signboard outside your office. Institute has given lots of restriction. You may comply with all of them. But you can always, if I am doing asset verification and if I want a methodology, I can stand here, talk about my methodology, do my video recording and put it on social media, right? And this is an educational video. I am not doing sale of my service and I am not doing promotion. This is only for your knowledge that I am doing it. And it is not written in the act that it cannot be done. रास्ता तो और निकाल ही लेते हैं, राइट? एक्सपर्ट है, तो इसको भी अच्छे से पढ़ो, बहुत सारे रास्ते यहाँ पे निकल सकते हैं, but it is important. See what did Virendra Sehwag do? What was he doing? Virendra Sehwag क्या चीज के लिए फेमस था? बैटिंग. And Virat Kohli बैटिंग. मोहम्मद शामी, राम जेठमलानी, criminal lawyer, Manish Daria. Yes, what are you famous for? Have you asked that question ever? What do people know me for? A generalist, a practitioner? I am an internet and risk consulting guy. Every Saturday मेरा वीडियो आता है इंटरनेट के ऊपर, सोशल मीडिया पे, फेसबुक, लिंक्डइन, इंस्टा सबके ऊपर. See, there are guys called कुशल लोधा. नाम सुना है कुशल लोधा का? कुशल लोधा बोलता है कि बहुत बड़ा इन्फ्लुएंसर है सोशल मीडिया. Some Aditi Ranade, she is an influencer. Rachna Ranade, I don't know what. So people look at. There are ways where otherwise client will come to your office, you will get your business and you will do. You will have to tell the world what you are, what you do in some manner or way. We can do a complete session on sales. If Hindustan Unilever spends crores of rupees every year, if Baba Ramdev Patanjali spends crores of rupees every year on doing advertisement of the product, we without doing any advertisement of sale, only that much client and only that much revenue. And if you look at the larger big boys, they in a way do all of those. Okay. So you will have to find a way of doing it. I think We will have to tell the world who we are, what we do, and go ahead. Let me stop here. Any questions? Happy to take. And thank you for supporting, I think, a lovely audience, and thank you for all the answers that you gave. Any questions?
Quickly,
एक दो तीन.
सब cover कर लिया पहले.
So let me summarize. I think policy procedure we talked about, internal audit we talked about, enterprise risk management we talked about, internal control of financial reporting, and SOX reporting of Japanese stocks is almost the same. Okay, and we also talked about creating delegation authority metric chart of account that you can do. There is capital project consultancy and there is business process improvement which you can do. Okay, as we go to the second one, we talked about the BRSR reporting, business responsibility and sustainability reporting. We talked about social audit. We talked about listing the NGOs and NPOs on social stock exchange. And then there are a lot of other audits which are going to come across in the whole ESG space, and a lot of work on the ESG and CSR thing. And when I come to the management support, I think we talked about the compliance, the related party, payroll, fixed asset verification, enterprise asset management, or as we call inventory verification, stores depot audit, and we even talked about a checklist driven audit or a customer experience audit across the length and breadth of the country. I've got many slides. I'm sure Purvi Madam will share it to all of you. You can read through, and then wherever there is a need, we can do a part 2.
Yes, not many is left.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Purvi.
I think we all will agree that it has been a very eye-opening and energetic session today. What I can say now is, I think change is the only constant. And in order to change, we will have to first of all make up our mind to step out of our comfort zones, pick up a new area, study on it, work on it, and then build our own practice in that new area. And obviously, sir is always there, I think, to help us and guide us in the same. So it has been a wonderful session, very fluent presentation. I think the PPT was just there. You knew it everything by heart. That is for us to study later on. And we will get back to you with our queries and difficulties if we face any in there. Thank you so much, sir, for pointing out these new and upcoming areas of practice that we can all look forward to. I would now like to thank also our coordinators that have helped in the management of the today's first meeting here, first session. Our second speaker is already here, so I would request you all to please take a quick 20 minutes break and assemble back for the second session. See, NC Henderji he's here for NRI taxation. That is also very important. And I request you all to please take a fast break and come back. Thank you.